I'm Nathaniel Hoekstra, and this is my study guide for chapters 7 through 9 of Looking at Movies. First, chapter 7, Acting. The book describes screen acting as an art. It is when an actor uses imagination, intelligence, psychology, memory, vocal technique, facial expressions, body language, and an overall knowledge of the filmmaking process to realize the character in which they portray. There are four main types of acting. The persona actor plays the same role from film to film. A great example is Michael Cera. Ever since George Michael Bluth, he has played the awkward kid who always somehow manages to get the girl. The chameleon actor is able to change from role to role. Will Smith may have started as the coolest kid on the block in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but went on to be an action star in Bad Boys and I, Robot, and moved on to dramatic roles in Pursuit of Happiness and 7 Pounds. Against type actors will often go against the audience expectations to play a new role. Funny guy Jim Carrey took on the very different character in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Nice guy and hero Elijah Wood played cannibalistic Kevin in Sin City. The non-professional role is played by someone famous for other reasons such as music or sports. Michael Jordan taking a major role in Space Jam, and the magnificent performances of Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Sean Bradley, Larry Johnson, and Muggsy Bogues add verisimilitude to the film. The two acting aesthetics are presentational and representational. No matter the difference, they both use a style appropriate to the role and film style. Presentational acting focuses on technical craft, voice, physical, and speech characterizations. British actor Michael Caine is a great example of this. Representational focuses on the inner world, psychological and emotional characterization. It strives for authenticity. Often called the greatest method actor, Daniel Day-Lewis seems to master even the inner beings of his characters. For the types of roles, I will be looking at Quentin Tarantino's 1994 classic, Pulp Fiction. The leading role is that of a principal character who helps move the plot forward. For my purposes, I will be using the storyline of Vincent Vega, as portrayed by John Travolta. The supporting actor helps move the plot along as much as a leading role, but may not appear as often. Uma Thurman's character, Mia Wallace, helps to move along Vega's story when he isn't with Jules. It helps to show a different side of Travolta's character. A minor role is in just a few scenes, but they may be crucial to the movie, such as Lance, who owns the house in which the famous overdose scene takes place. A character role is anything minor, from a police officer to the waitress of the cafe. A bit part is a small speaking role, like Steve Buscemi's Buddy Holly waiter. Cameos are small but significant characters played by well-known figures. Tarantino often cameos in his own movies, this time as Jimmy Dimmick. Chapter 8 is all about editing. Editing is the basic creative force in cinema. It is a process by which the editor combines and coordinates individual shots into the cinematic whole. It has come a long way, and now it is done almost completely digitally. In most mainstream movies, continuity editing is used to give the film a seamless feel that flows smoothly with no distracting cuts. The master establishing shot is important to continuity editing because it gives the film editors the tools to do the job effectively, and it orients the viewer in preparation for the shots that follow. This shot in Little Miss Sunshine establishes the arrangement and mood of the characters in the diner. The shot reverse shot is a technique in which the camera switches views, often framed over the character's shoulder in conversation scenes like this one from Sin City. Cross-cutting refers to the editing that cuts between at least two actions occurring at the same time and usually in the same place. Discontinuity editing is a deliberate choice by the filmmaker to manipulate shots so the transitions are not smooth or continuous. The editing will call attention to itself. Montage editing is the creation of a sense or measuring not proper to the images themselves, but derived exclusively from the juxtaposition. Many training sequences are montages, such as this famous still of Rocky Balboa. The ellipsis is the most common manipulation of time through editing. It makes skipping time possible and economizes the presentation of plot. Next is the jump cut. This editing presents an instantaneous advance in the action and is perhaps illogical and often a disorienting ellipsis. In the final fight scene of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Scott Pilgrim is attempting to rescue Ramona Flowers from the ruthless Gideon Graves. The first few cuts are of Scott suiting up, which then slow down comically as he ties his shoes. Next he arrives at the Chaos Theater, where jump cuts are used to show him defeating the hipster security guards. He then earns his different swords and finally kicks Gideon into coins. The Kuleshov effect is an interesting idea which states that a blank face put together with a different image will give the audience the perception of emotion. In this example, we see a man paired with a dead body, soup, and a posed woman, portraying sadness, hunger, and lust, respectively. Parallel editing is the cutting together of two or more actions that occur simultaneously at different locations. At the end of The Godfather, Michael Corleone orders the hit on the heads of the families and other crucial figures on the day of his son's christening. We see a scene of stark contrast as these violent acts are done to men such as Moe Greene, fully establishing Michael Corleone as the new Godfather. Chapter 9 focuses on sound. The importance of sound in mainstream film is indisputable. This job of incorporating sound is left to technicians and artists who record, edit, and mix the components into the film. There are many types and sources of sound in film. Diegetic sounds originate from a source within the film world, while non-diegetic sound come from outside this world. On-screen sound emanates from a source that we can see, while off-screen, which can be either diegetic or non-diegetic, derives from sources that we cannot see. Internal sound occurs when we hear what we believe are the thoughts of the character, while external sound comes from a place within the world and we assume it's heard by the characters in that world. Ambient sound emanates from the background of the setting being filmed and is either recorded during production or added during post-production. A dead track is a complete silence in a film. Music is used in many distinct ways in a film, three of which are score, soundtrack, and underscore. A score is a piece of music, usually orchestral, written to set mood to a film. One of the most famous is the Imperial March from Star Wars. The soundtrack of a film includes popular music found and sometimes written for particular scenes. In School of Rock, Jack Black inspires students to stick it to the man and write this great song.
Baby, we was making straight A's, but we were stuck in the dumb days. Don't take much to memorize your lies. I feel like I've been hypnotized. And then that magic man, he come to town. Woo-wee, he done spun my head around.
The underscore of a film is the soft music used to fill the empty spots in a scene and is often not recognizable or memorable, but still important. The post-production process includes the editing and mixing of sounds. When a sound can't be recorded on set or needs to be created, filmmakers look to Foley artists, sonic engineers who can make almost any sound in just a small studio. Automatic dialogue replacement is the digital response to re-recording, in which an ADR editor inserts the better quality recording into a scene where it has been marred. Well, that's all for now, and remember, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.